For years, the world believed they knew the youngest prince of the royal family. A cheerful child waving from palace balconies, smiling for cameras, and charming millions of people watching around the world. But behind the carefully staged royal appearances, whispers began spreading inside the palace walls. Staff members spoke quietly, some suddenly leaving their jobs, others refusing to talk at all. And according to insiders, one private psychological evaluation may have revealed something the royal household never expected. At first, the public saw nothing unusual. During royal events, the young prince often behaved like many children do. He made funny faces, covered his ears, and sometimes seemed distracted by the overwhelming cheers of thousands of people. Many viewers laughed at these moments, calling them adorable or playful. But experts who carefully study body language started noticing something different hidden within those small moments. During several major royal appearances, cameras captured the prince reacting strongly to loud sounds and flashing lights. Sometimes he appeared restless. Other times he seemed completely distant, staring into space while the crowd around him erupted in applause. Observers noticed sudden emotional shifts, moments of silence followed by exaggerated laughter, almost as if he was trying to quickly adjust to the pressure of being watched. Behind the scenes, palace staff were reportedly trying to manage these situations in real time. According to former employees, handlers would quietly guide the prince during public events, whisper instructions, and gently redirect his attention whenever he appeared overwhelmed. To the public, everything still looked perfectly organized, but insiders say those moments were far more complicated than they appeared on camera. Eventually, the royal household reportedly brought in a child psychology specialist to quietly observe the situation. Officially, the expert was described as an educational consultant, but sources claimed the real purpose was far more serious. Over several weeks, the specialist studied the prince's routines, reactions to crowds, and emotional responses during both public and private settings. What she allegedly discovered raised deeper questions about the pressures placed on royal children. Growing up inside a royal institution is very different from a normal childhood. From a very young age, royal children are expected to perform in front of cameras, represent centuries of tradition, and behave with composure during events watched by millions of people. For adults, that pressure can already be overwhelming. For a child, it can be even more difficult to understand. Some reports suggested that the prince occasionally struggled with sensory overload during large public gatherings. Loud applause, flashing cameras, and enormous crowds could sometimes become too much stimulation at once. In private rehearsals before events, staff members allegedly noticed moments where he appeared exhausted, anxious, or emotionally drained. According to sources familiar with the situation, the specialist recommended reducing the child's exposure to large public events and focusing more on emotional support and stability. But royal institutions are built on tradition and public image, and balancing those expectations with the needs of a young child is never simple. Soon after, palace appearances involving the prince reportedly became more controlled and less frequent. Events were carefully planned, media coverage was tightly managed, and the royal household maintained its usual silence on private family matters. Officially, nothing unusual had happened, but the discussions surrounding royal childhoods continued to grow. Many experts began asking a larger question: what happens when children are raised in one of the most watched families on earth? Because unlike ordinary children, royal heirs grow up under constant observation. Every smile, every reaction, every small moment becomes global news within seconds. And while the world sees carefully captured photographs, the reality behind the scenes can be far more complicated. Today, the young prince still appears occasionally beside his family, smiling and waving to the crowds just as the world expects. But the story raises an important question about the future of royal traditions. In a modern world that increasingly values emotional well-being, can centuries-old institutions adapt to protect the childhood of those born into them? Or will the pressure of the crown always come first? For now, the answers remain hidden behind palace walls.